watching Famous Dave on YouTube.
Hi, welcome back. You're watching the Short Vol Show live. My name's Dave. We are in the lovely state of Massachusetts, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and I'm not quite sure why there is a picture of GameStop store behind me, but must be a blast from the past. Let's take a look at the market as we head into today's session. And just to revisit GameStop really quickly, let's take a look at the chart here. Trading down about 50 cents before the open, around $119 a share. You can see the recent price chart of this, and my opinion on this is that this is going to head lower. It's just a question of time. But it's been a tough ride, right? You can see it got all the way back up to 148 as recently as June 24th. So this thing could pop to 150 in a moment. It's tough to trade this one. Let's go on to the basket that I've had my eggs in recently, with that being Squarespace. Now, Squarespace came off a high of the high 200s. If we look back on a year chart, you can see the high here of 289, and has basically gone straight down since then, effectively. But many people are playing for a bounce here, and it's talked about it as a way to expose yourself to crypto without just being long an individual cryptocurrency. For example, Square has exposure to, I believe, Bitcoin, but it's like 2% of the company, so it's not a huge amount, but the publicity surrounding it is bigger than that. Also, Square has a celebrity CEO. The company's now called Block, by the way. They changed their name a while ago. That, as you know, that's trendy to change your name. We had Facebook change its name to Meta, and Square, of course, changed its name to Block. And essentially, I've been playing for a bounce on this one for some time. And we have gotten a little bit of a bounce in it. I'm just looking for like a return to, let's say, the 80s in this one. And that's kind of what we're looking for. Let's see, Squarespace announces. If you look at the recent earnings in Squarespace, earnings have kind of dropped off, but it's still in positive territory here, which is a good sign. The most recent earnings being 18 cents, before that 27, etc. I've been through that already. Let's take a look at major market indices as we come into the session today, and basically stuff unched. We had a pretty dramatic day yesterday in the NASDAQ, with it being up before the open, then it being down, and then rallying to being up on the day. However, like many other charts you can see here, we're still in a downtrend. So, one update does not a rally make, of course. And until we're not in a downtrend, we're still in a downtrend, which means it kind of makes sense to sell the rallies, right? You get a big update like yesterday, it probably is most likely going to work to sell it. And that's probably going to be the case in Squarespace too. If we look at a 5-day chart in Squarespace, you can see, boom, rally yesterday, right? Now, that 5-day chart looks bullish to me. However, if you back out to a 20-day chart, a little less clear, right? Back out to a 180-day chart, a little less clear as well. Now, if we are to say, oh, well, the sell-off is over in these companies, and you could make the case that many companies have not had the extreme price moves that Squarespace has in the sell-off, right? If we look at the E-minis, and you go back 3 years, the downturn only brings us back to 2021. However, if you look at Squarespace in the same 3-year chart, we're way below 2021 numbers here, right? So Squarespace has definitely sold off way more than just the normal market, the average stock in the market, right? Same thing if we look at the NASDAQ here, down to 2020. We've given up back to 2021 in the NASDAQ here. But when we look at Squarespace, I mean, it's just obliterated. It's funny. I had this landlord when Squarespace IPO'd. It was like 10, $11, and she was saying, "Oh, I think this is a great buy. Squarespace. You should buy Squarespace." And of course, I'm like, "Well, what does this lady know about the stock market? She's just, she works in retail, and I'm the stock market guy. I'm not going to listen to her." Well, I should have listened because it went from 11 to 289, right? So 66 here is way higher than where it IPO'd at 11 once again, and certainly it could move lower than here. There's no reason to say that this is the bottom, and in fact, the trend is lower right now. So the likelihood is this will move lower than here. However, at some point this could turn around and kind of start to head higher, and I kind of put my eggs in the basket that it would rally from here at least a little bit. But when you look at the charts and the sum total of all these different timelines on charts, it's not clear. Now that's what the stock market is all about, is things are never clear. And coming in and saying what's going to happen, I think that people who look at trading from the outside of it many times think that somebody out there knows ahead of time what's going to happen. Like, the good traders know exactly what's going to happen ahead of time, and they just position themselves and take advantage of it. When the reality is that nobody really knows what's going to happen. Now, there are some people who are better than others at guessing what's going to happen, but nobody really knows the future. So yesterday, Square, I came in and positioned myself long about 200 deltas, and we did rally up a few points. So it was a winning day. I pretty much took the position off, though, and you can see my delta here is just 36 deltas, the delta being the stock equivalent of my options trade. So if you translated the options trades into stock shares, it would be as if I was long 36 shares of Square. Thus, if it goes up $1, you make $36. Well, close to $37. Goes down $1, you lose $37. The other Greeks, theta would be the cost to carry the position, and 45 cents a day is basically nothing. Gamma, same thing, pretty much nothing right now. Gamma being the rate of change in the delta over time. So if you had a gamma of 1 in this example, it would mean that if you had a positive 1 gamma, it would mean that the deltas as you go up increase by 1 delta each point. If you have a negative gamma, then your deltas are going to go in the opposite direction of whichever way the stock moves. So if the stock's going up, your deltas are getting shorter. If the stock goes down, your deltas are getting longer. And of course, if you have negative gamma, you have positive theta. So if you sell options, you kind of want stuff to stay still, and you collect money every day. If you buy options, you want stuff to move, and you have to pay for that privilege of being able to make money when stuff moves. I understand that many people watching this already know that, but I want to just kind of give a little bit of information for people at various levels here. All right, so coming into today, the major indices pretty flat, VIX 27. So we're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern here. We're off the lows in major indices, and we just have to see when the time comes that we can actually sustain a rally here. It really hasn't happened yet, right? Just because, once again, we had a little bit of an update yesterday in the NASDAQ. Things are kind of split yesterday with the NASDAQ rallying and the Dow. I believe the Dow might have been down yesterday, or if it was up, it was just only slightly up. But we need to see if we can sustain a rally here, right? That's the key. And until further notice, we are in a downtrend. So I would continue to operate as if we're in a downtrend until we're not. So that's kind of where we are right now. There's about 19 minutes till the open, and I wish you the best of luck trading today. Thanks for checking in with me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
You're watching Famous Games.